Your first mission for logistics is going to be a bit of a thought experiment. And the thought experiment is pretty simple. You're gonna meet girls in certain places and you're gonna have to bring them probably to another place to sleep with them. It's possible to sleep with them the same place you meet them, depending where it is. But most of the time you're gonna have to bring them back to your house or your apartment or a secluded shed in the woods. I don't know where the fuck you're taking them, but it has to be somewhere where sex can happen, okay? So you need to have mapped out what are the places you're gonna meet girls, what are the places where sex can actually occur, and then I want you to think about the intermediate steps. Because typically, if you say, hey, let's go back to my place and have sex, unless the girl's very, very aroused and has really committed to you, it's gonna be a hard sell. Even if she's really into you, she may need to justify to herself that she's not that slutty. It just happened. So, what are venues near your place? Is there a park you could take her for a walk in nearby? Is there a bar just down the street from you? Is there like some kind of fun attraction or show that's just down the way? At your place, is there like a swimming pool or rooftop that's not in your apartment per se that you could use as an intermediate step? I want you to think, what are the intermediate steps that are palatable to a girl and what paths can I take her on? And notice I said steps, paths, and venues. These are all plural, okay? I don't want you to just have one like funnel that it always goes down, because guess what? Sometimes a girl may not say yes to the first thing you suggest, but that doesn't mean you should give up or quit or not get a little creative with it, okay? So pretty much when I was growing up, I didn't have this, right? I was living with my parents and that would have been awkward, I thought. And then on top of that, I was far away and I hadn't thought about the intermediate steps. So when a girl liked me, I was like, oh, she likes me, I feel good about myself, but what then? I didn't have a path. Had I had a game plan and a path, this is the next step, this is the next step, this is the next step, I would have had somewhere to take it. And now whether I'm at home or I'm traveling, I always have that. In fact, I always have multiple routes, right? Multiple ways back. So for example, there are a bunch of different bars near me. I could take a girl to any of those different bars. There's also a few different markets and attractions near me. I could take her to that, right? Also, there's all kinds of different excuses that I could give back where I live, right? And it's different. Like for example, I give rooftop, I could give an attraction that I have in my apartment, various things, various ways of getting there. And they'd be different for daytime versus nighttime. The point is I have a lot of different options. I know what they are, and I'll start off trying one. If it doesn't work, I'll try another one. If that doesn't work, I'll try another one. But I have a plan, and you need to have a plan too. So I want you to sit down, not just in your head, sit down and actually write out at least 3 different intermediate places that you could take a girl near your place, and ideally kind of like what you could do in those places, right? So you have a premise and you have a game plan. And then from there, think about the step from the intermediate place back to your place, all right? I want you to have a few different options so you always have a plan. Your next mission for logistics is what I call home game. This is basically thinking ahead and knowing in advance, maybe even creating in advance, the experience for the girl when she gets back to your place. What is it gonna be like? Where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do? That kind of thing. And it comes down to a lot of things. One is have things like wine at your house, right? So if you invite a girl out for a drink, you can actually spend time drinking, hanging out, chilling, doing whatever, as opposed to she gets to this like quiet house where there's nothing to do, right? One thing I used to do back in the day on dates, I would leave the TV on and I'd leave a window open. So when she walks into my house, she hears outside noise and she sees the TV on. It seems like it's actually been lived in. It's not some like creepy cave where I just brought her to like take advantage of her. Little things like that. One great home game move, I'm not saying that everybody could do this, a friend of mine was an amateur DJ, not even like the greatest by any means, but he had a turntable in his house. Right? Imagine how much fun he and the girl had messing around on the turntable, him teaching her, that kind of stuff. And imagine how cool it made him look that he knew how to do some of these DJ things, right? Have a plan. If you have a rooftop in your house, use it. If you have a balcony in your house, use it. Go somewhere before the bedroom so it doesn't feel creepy to her. So what I want you to do is plan out what are the things you're gonna have in your place. It can be wine, it can be like interesting lighting, it can be videos like you have to show the girl, anything and everything, okay? What attractions do you have? And then what are the different procedures and step-by-steps you can take her on so that it's a fun experience when she gets back to your place instead of feeling like she just got put on for sex, okay? So think about that. Again, similar to with the game plan getting her home, I want you to actually sit down and write down the things that you need to have, and then I want you to actually go out and get them if necessary. Go out and get the little items and plan out the different areas that you can take the girl to. Your next logistical assignment deals with the logistics of the place where you're actually gonna meet the girl or the logistics of a place you can take a girl on a date once you have met her. So this is logistics outside of your house or outside of your direct control. And what I'm gonna suggest to you is become a regular in a good way in a few key places. So if there are really good venues to meet girls in your city, become a regular there. Get to know the doorman, get easy access as necessary. Know the bartender, be on good terms. Be on good terms with the wait staff, so they're gonna do, talk you up, say good things about you, make you look good in front of whatever girls you're around. Things that help with this: go to the place regularly, go there sometimes when you're not with girls. Definitely, you don't have to tip extravagantly, but definitely don't stiff them on tips. Be a nice, good customer. Have some conversations with the staff. Go there on slow or quiet nights to actually get to know them. These kind of things are all very, very positive, but just going there regularly will do a big part of it as well, okay? This will help you with a number of things. It'll help you with access, getting in very easily and not having a problem. It'll help you with a good environment once you are there, and make you look very, very cool to the girl. This is useful for a place where you're gonna meet girls. It's also very useful, say you have a bar near your house, definitely get to know the bartender there, get to know the wait staff there. If there are other people that are regulars that are there all the time and they're friendly with you and will talk you up, this is all amazing, because anything that's coming by accident, the girl trusts. Anything that you're trying to do intentionally, she's a little, maybe he's trying to persuade me, right? So set up the environment in your favor ahead of time. Put in a little bit of groundwork. It'll pay you off massively. Don't try and be a regular everywhere. Pick a few places. Pick a few of your favorite places. Become a regular. Be on great terms. It's going to pay you off tremendously. Your final logistics mission is another thought experiment, but this is one you're going to put into action very, very regularly and in a very, very concrete, tangible way. And this is, I want you to come up with a list of your excuses to take a girl home. And talking A, the reason why, and then B, the specific thing you're going to say when you take her home, okay? So I'll give you some examples from my own life, but I want you to come up with a bunch of your own that actually relate to your own situation. In fact, I want you to come up with, let's say 8 to 10, okay? 8 is the absolute minimum. I recommend 10 or 15 even, but we'll say 8 is the minimum of ways that you could explain or express or state bringing the girl home, the reason and the phrasing of it. Here are a couple that I've used in the past very, very regularly. When I was in Vegas, I say, I'm kind of tempted to, take you to my favorite place in Vegas, but I'm not sure, I don't know you that well yet, okay? That's one, just kind of seeding it out there, putting it out there. And then my favorite place in Vegas was the pool in the apartment complex where I lived. Another one is, I don't know, it's just I'm not loving the vibe here. Let's go somewhere quieter where we can have a drink and not get bumped into by so many people. It's just a more chill place. And that would be maybe my place, maybe my rooftop, or maybe if it's a loud club, it would be a quiet bar right next to my house. But any of those would work as the reason for that. Another one would be if a girl's been asking you biographical questions, maybe it's be I'd love to show you that later. Maybe when I get to know you better. And then later on, you'd be you know what? You were curious about what I did before. Do you want me to actually show you? And then you take her home, you show her photos, show her some little glimpse into your life, that sort of thing. So these are some examples that I've used on a regular basis. I want you to think of some of your own. Now the criteria is this. It should get her home. It should not scream sex in any sort of a way, and it should not make her feel slutty, okay? It should not be hey, let's go up and fuck, right? It needs to be something that when you express it, seems like a fun, casual thing that she would do with or without the sexual attraction. Now, deep down, she knows if you met her out or you took her on a date and you're taking her back to somewhere else, she knows kind of what that means, especially if you've already been physical, but she needs at least a little bit of plausible deniability, at least a little bit of oh, I didn't go just for sex, oh, one thing led to another, it just happened. So by coming up with these, you're doing her the favor of making that part of her experience. You make the experience feel better, you make it have a different and better meaning to her, and by extension, you'll make her view you in a different and better light by simply knowing what you're doing with these phrases and having them on hand. And again, it's very important that you have multiples, because maybe you throw one out and she's not very into it. Maybe one of your things involves ice cream and she's lactose intolerant. Well, fuck, you better have another one, okay? So you want to have a few different options at any given time.